stuck.
Oops.
There he goes.
Let's try
there
that
he
again.
goes.
Let's try that again. I don't even know how to start again. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not intended for entertainment purposes. Today we're going to dive down the rabbit hole a little bit of New Year's and what's all the celebration about. Is it just a party or is there something deeper? Is it a ritual? If it is, what is it a ritual for? What are we counting down to? I know they've told us we're counting down to the new year, but is it the new year? Is it the new year that we're counting down to? Because January happens to not be the first of the year. Well, unless you believe, that what they've told you about how the calendar works. But if you know anything about the sun and the moon and the movements of the heavens and when spring actually is, it ain't in January. So we're going to dive into that and look a little bit. We've got a full house here again today. We've got Roxy, the Roxy Files YouTube channel, in the house with us again today. What's happening, Roxy?
Hello, Governor. Hello. Hello, Governor.
Anything supernatural going on with you?
No, but we have some beautiful weather here today.
Yes.
Beautiful weather.
We do indeed. We've also got Miss Kim here backing us up in the background as well. What's happening, Miss Kim? Nothing much, she says. And we've also got, of course, Shannon, our super duper co-host, with us again today. What's happening, Shannon?
Hello, everyone.
Or should I say, what in the supernatural is going on with you?
Well, speaking of supernatural things, just in case you guys ever think about or wonder about your connection with your children and the just innate ability to know what's going on and what's wrong. I just had a situation last night where before anything was even said, already knew, had to go on the rescue. And, just know your connection with your babies is strong and hold on to that. And if you feel something's off, that's that supernatural feeling in there letting you know you're right. So, yep. That's my supernatural story for today.
Yep, and very good advice for people, especially, you think they tell you, well, I'm going down to the fireworks display. Well, we're going to talk about what we might be celebrating when we're celebrating New Year's, because I don't think we're celebrating what we think we're celebrating, because New Year's doesn't even really exist then. We've also got Super Dave, Super Mike in the house with us in the comments, our super moderators. And I'd like to say hello to them and thank them once again for being here, helping out with everything. We're grateful to have them here with us. Let's see here. I think I got all that taken care of. So I've got, as y'all guys can see, an image there on the screen. Matter of fact, maybe I can make it a little bigger. Let's go to here for a minute. And I think I have the picture. Yeah, there you go. So you can see a little bit better. I just used an AI program. And all I did was tell it I wanted a dystopian image of New Year's Eve, or the New Year's celebration with the clock counting down. And that's all I told it. But it came back and gave me this, that it's 2025, the end is here, and it's got, under that, looks like a bunch of demonic beings. Let's look at this image a little bit closer, because I did not tell it to do this stuff. It chose it on its own. Looks like, over here on the right-hand side, looks like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing going on. It looks like there's a something that looks like a hawk on this side. And this table is surrounded by beans, and there's either a fire in the middle or one of those white orbs like Trump went and put his hands on. Let's see, what was that orb called? It's called a anybody? There's a name for it. The
orb?
Yeah, the orb. The white orb thing in Lord of the Rings that they put there, that they could see into the future and the past and see across time and space. It was called, there's a company named after it right now. What is it? It's slipping my mind, guys. I'm sorry. So this is the image that it came up with on its own. And it made me think back as well. A couple of years back, if you go back and you look at the videos and watch these jumbotrons and watch what they're playing in the background right when the clock is counting down, and there's a story that's being told there, and or should we say a premonition that they're showing, because they control, this is one big show and they're in control of all of it. And y'all guys that have been here a long time, you're well aware that I've talked about generally what the countdown is likely. And unfortunately, it's not a pretty premonition, prediction, prophecy, whatever you want to call it. It's not pretty. And this photo is actually pretty appropriate. In this thing, they have a gateway right here in the middle, which we happen to be going to be talking about a gateway because New Year's is leading into January, and January happens to be named after the Roman god Janus. Go ahead.
Oh, in the comments, and I also looked it up.
Palantir.
Palantir. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Give me a little bit of water. So we got this AI decided to put in a gateway image here, and Janus happens to be the Roman god of gateways. That's why Janus is depicted as having one face facing forward and one face facing backwards, supposedly seeing and controlling the future and the past kind of thing. But I didn't tell it to do a gateway imagery here. And I didn't tell it to be so dark, but I think it is very likely knows more than it's willing to say exactly. Because it's likely that these AI systems are literally connected to the fallen. Is highly likely what is going on, you know. Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up a few things here. I mean, we got a number of directions we can go here, but either one of y'all guys have any knowledge about the Janus thing much at all? I don't have that much knowledge myself, but I'm going to share.
No, I've not been down that one.
I've been down that one.
I've been down it a little bit, just as far as some mythology, origin, and the whole two-face personality that goes along with it, which is a spirit, and it's like those types of people who are two-faced. Those are the ones that I end up more repelled by than anyone.
Kind of reminds me of someone who's a flip-flopper. They say one thing and then do something else and just go completely opposite, 180 directions is one thing that it brings to mind. And I could think of a number of politicians that do that on a regular basis. Right.
They say one thing to your face, but intentionally are lying and have a completely different demeanor or thought process or action that they are following.
And Janus is all tied directly to Saturnalia as well. And like somebody said in the comments just now that Casey talks about that. Yeah, I've heard Casey talk about that. But it's connected to Saturnalia, which is the celebration of of Saturn as being a deity, being an actual god. And I do think that Saturn and the other planets are actual, you might say, lower level angels that are what they are. And you could go biblical on it and talk about a lot of things. But I was noticing when I was looking at like these images, like of Janus, this is supposedly looking at the past and looking at the future. Here is one of their coins that Caesar had minted. He had this minted, this along with a number of other ones, as you can see here. He had it minted. See if we can open this one. This one looks like it's got a little bit better coloring and imagery and stuff. He had it minted. The interesting thing is that he did this along with changing all the laws, the way the system was set up. Like when he first came into power, he wasn't actually the ultimate power. There were two individuals or two different groups or two individuals that represented two other groups that balanced the power supposedly. But then what happened was all prior to Christ coming along, right during this same time, because Christ even speaks of Caesar a little bit in the Bible. But he decided to unify all power in himself, and he got rid of the multi-party system. And it's interesting that today we have our own politics that are mirroring this. And what I mean by that is like, we're talking like biblically the book of Daniel, the changing of laws and of times. And well, the changing of laws is something like saying, okay, we're going from being a multi-controlled system to a unified power, like dictator kind of thing. And we just happen to have see if I've got it right up here. I know I do. We happen to have let's see where I've got it here. I'm assuming I have it. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. So, and I imagine y'all guys have heard rumor that, well, not just rumor. I mean, Trump stated that after this last election, you would not have to vote anymore. He said, Christians, I love you. I'm not a Christian, but you won't have to do this anymore. This is the last time, you know. And he's speaking, of course, with a forked tongue, but that's what he's doing. And now they're talking about, and you can Google it, and there's a bunch of different people going backwards and forward talking about it, but that he's going to be the president again. Okay. So, but he's got like, apparently somebody offering him $250 million in order to run for president, meaning like there's an election, which I don't believe elections are real at all. There's no way that they would give us an opportunity to actually control our destiny. You know, they can control this stuff. So we have Trump doing a little bit of the changing of laws. Now, of course, we all know that Trump he's done something that more than any other president in history, and that is use executive orders. Probably the closest one to him would be Obama. Using executive orders, meaning basically, I said it, so therefore do it. There's no voting on it. There ain't no making a law, going through a voting process. It's just executive order.
It is interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but
no.
Casey does mention the Janus thing being tied to the Trumpster and
Mhm.
Obama's, which, them being the two heads and one kind of thing. So I just kind of
Mhm.
thought that was interesting. You brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Casey spent actually quite a bit of time. We're talking about Casey that has the YouTube channel Enter the Stars. If you're not familiar with him and you like what I talk about, you're highly likely going to like what hearing from Casey. It's Enter the Stars on YouTube. And we also have Mr. T doing something else too. He's looking to mess with time a little bit, which is and it's to me or most people, we would think it sounds like a good idea, to make daylight savings time permanent, you know. And, but that's one change when it comes to time that he's looking to do. But then, of course, he's also, let me go back to, let me see, where am I looking for here? Let me see if this is the screen. Well, I'm sure I'll come to it. Let's just go from here. And jump in anytime, Roxy, because you know how I get to Mike Hogan, because, well, I don't know
I'm
why.
in the chat.
Oh, excuse me. He's in the chat.
I'm in the chat talking with my people.
All right, well, jump in anytime you want to. January, of course, like we said, it is named after the Roman god Janus, the god that looks forward and backwards, depicted as having two faces. And it happens to be that January is the month that immediately follows the New Year's celebrations. So, and this change was made by Caesar back around the time just before the birth of Christ. And he did that, he did the changing of the calendar is one thing he did. And he did also the changing of all the laws, so that way he was Caesar then. And then that's when he started minting these coins as well. And the coins, of course, depict, where'd my image go? Well, here's another thing. This one is just, I know there's people that just love Trump. But he went and put his name on the building for a man that had a memorial because he's dead and he was murdered in office. But that's what a memorial is, the John F. K. Memorial. But Trump now changed it to the Donald J. Trump and the J. F. Kennedy Memorial. Is there something going to happen to Trump to make this more appropriate? I think there's a good possibility of that as well. Now, will it be real? No, I don't ever see that being real, meaning they might say something happened and there was somebody on a rooftop over here and, like they did back when they claimed that someone shot at him from a rooftop. And, well, if you have a bullet from a high-powered rifle pass so close to your ear that it actually nicks it, the concussion from that round passing your ear has such force you would never hear again, and you'd have blood running all out of your ear. It would deafen you. You would lose your balance. You wouldn't be able to walk. None of that. And of course, there would be blood everywhere because your ear is one of the most bloody things on your body. But anyways.
Okay, well, you evidently haven't seen the videos then.
Which videos?
Okay, the whole Pennsylvania shooting, nicking his ear.
Uh-huh.
The videos of how it was staged with the crisis actors has actually been put out. Like, they released it. They showed you it was central casting. They done the same thing with the shooting over in...
who is they that admitted this?
I don't know who they is, but they are putting out their people that are showing the crisis actors getting blood poured on them at these different events, we'll say, that are going off.
So they're admitting to it and showing you what they did.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing
and the word central casting was used in it.
Really? Perfect.
Really.
I'll have to try to look up
I'll be looking it up. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So, but there's a reason why he put his name on a memorial building. a building that's for, someone who's died in a memorable way. Can't even think today. Let's look. I'm a little bit unorganized, but let's try to look here at like Saturnalia. Okay. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about Christmas. It's, I'll read a little bit here for you as to what Wikipedia says about it. But it was a big lawless celebration in general, like when normal laws just did not apply. And I'll just read a little bit for you. Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival and holiday in honor of god Saturn. Okay. Now remember, Saturn, they say it is a failed star. Another way you can say that is, if you know the truth about it, is that stars are angels. You could say instead of a failed star or a failed angel, it'd be a fallen angel. It says held on December 17th in the Julian calendar and later expanded with festivals until 19 December. By the 1st century BC, the celebration had been extended until 23 December for a total of 7 days of festivities. The holiday was celebrated with a sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn. Let's pop that open real quick too so we can look at the Temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum, and a public banquet followed by private gift giving, the exchanging of gifts like Christmas and all of this. And of course, I just showed you the coin. See, which one was it? This is one of them, I think. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. This one. So here's the coin, and you're talking about gift giving and how all these holidays that we've been made to believe since we were children. Here it looks like the image to me of somebody riding in a type of sleigh with horses with horns pulling it. And if you go back even further, you can find coins that show that it is actually like wolves pulling it, which is interesting. Unfortunately, I am not as educated as I would like to be when it comes to in-depth Roman deity worship. I do know that all the deity worship in all the different countries and cultures, they're all worshiping the same deities, and they are ultimately the fallen ones.
I can say, if you do know anything about the saints in Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
they are pretty much hand in hand with those.
Well, isn't the Romans
deities
hand in hand with Catholicism?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are a bit familiar with with these guys a bit. Yeah. Because it's about one and the same. just
it's basically
the
same story told in very many different ways, depending on the culture, location, of course, in the society, and depending on what century it's in, because all this stuff just seems to just repeat over and over and over. And that's kind of the point of what we're talking about today, is that because these guys are still worshiping Saturnalia, they're still worshiping Janus, they're still doing all this stuff. Rome didn't exactly die the way they told us, okay? Rome and other interparts are still in power, is what I would say. So let's read just a little bit more here. It says, in a public banquet followed by private gift giving, continual partying, and a carnival atmosphere that overturned Roman social norms. Gambling was permitted, and masters provided table service for their slaves, as it was seen as a time of liberty for both slaves and freedom alike. A common custom was the election of a king of Saturnalia, who gave orders to people which were followed and presided over the merrymaking. The gifts exchanged were usually gag gifts and small figurines made of wax or pottery, known as sigillary, something like that. Now, as I was researching this and reading before, a few things, and I don't know if it's right in here where I can pull it up, but, oh, matter of fact, it is. I see it right here. The Golden Age. It says, well, I'll just read this part in. Saturnalia was the Roman equivalent to the earlier Greek holiday Chronia, which was celebrated during the Attic month of Hekatum Ayan, or something like that, in late September or midsummer. It held theology importance for some Romans who saw it as a restoration of the ancient Golden Age when the world was ruled by Saturn. So now we have a president that's telling us that we're going into the Golden Age, and we have this Janus deity character who is the key holder, and we know how Trump likes to give out gold keys. And it's pretty obvious that they're playing this same thing out again. And they see us as turning from the age of iron back to a golden age for them, not for us, but for them. This is why they're depopulating the world. If you're not aware, where did your neighbor go? And where did your 35-year-old nephew go? A lot of people are going away. And it's ultimately, well, we should all know why that is. You know, when you get snake bites, it's a lot of people don't last through a lot of snake bites. But we got the Golden Age going here again. And let's look here and see what briefly it says about the Golden Age. The term Golden Age comes from Greek mythology, particularly the works and days of Hesiod, something like that, and is part of the description of temporal decline of the state of peoples through 5 ages, gold being the first, and one during the golden race of humanity lived. After the end of the first age was the silver, then the bronze, after the heroic age, with the 5th and current age being iron. So, as you can tell, we're basically in the Iron Age. It fits in a lot of ways. But now we have a guy that's playing this role, like multi-roles. He's like the leader of the free world, and all the other countries basically do whatever he wants. And he's announcing a golden age and a golden dome, and he's announcing a Stargate AI. I mean, who is this AI that they're so enamored with that runs on all of this equipment made out of sand or silicon or silica, then turned into silicone? It's pretty obvious that there's nothing new under the sun, I guess you'd say. Now, they look at this as an age of peace, harmony, stability, and prosperity. Now, if we look up, that brings to mind, if we look up the Trump is Rael coin, that's the Abraham coin. Let's see if it just brings it up here like that. I'm looking for the one that has the imagery on the back. Maybe it's the Abraham. if that pulls it up. Yep, it did. Let's see, what's the resolution on there? Not very good. This one, that might work. So then you have this, and on, as you can see, it's coin that was minted, it's signed by John Trump, right? And it says, it's talking about peace, okay? And you can see on it, it has an extreme amount of symbolism. And if you look close enough, you can see the symbolism of computers or silicone and networks being built and tied to a heartbeat, tied to space using these satellites here, tied to snake bites or whatever you want to call that syringe looking thing right there, tied to gears and systems and coding, matrix coding, again tied to satellites. And as we go to the top, we see the dove of peace like we were just looking at a second ago, and Saturn at the very top. So anyone want to tell me that what I'm seeing isn't real? If you know what I'm saying. Anybody? Is everybody
Sorry,
still there?
Roxy. This is sorry. I was having technical difficulties and Roxy had to step away for a second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Do apologize.
Yeah, no problem. I was just saying all this stuff. I don't know what you were seeing or not seeing, but we were looking at the coin, of course, with all of the symbolism. Right. I mean, you've looked at this many times, but at the top of the coin, it's got the dove, peace, and Saturn, of course.
Saturn.
And a coin that's signed by Donald Trump. So I was saying, anybody want to explain to me how what I'm seeing is just crazy? And
it's almost like they're trying to reiterate the Prince of Peace, which is really like the opposite. It's more the Saturnalian version.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. I'll read just a little bit more here. It says where did I leave off at? During this age, peace and harmony prevailed in that people did not have to work. Did not have to work to feed themselves. Okay, does anybody remember any talk of anybody talking about how they're getting ready to come out with a digital monetary system that provides a certain amount of money each month so you have food to eat and these kind of things? Any of this sound familiar too? I'm sure.
Yes, they call it universal. They call it universal income, and it's been brought up several times in a lot of these big world leader meetings.
Right. Yep. Over and over it has. And I know most of everybody that's listening is familiar with this. But what I'm doing is kind of pulling it together and realizing that New Year's is it appears to be a very key time. I mean, if I go and we look at this, you can call it whatever you want. Most of you have seen it. I pick goat. Most of you have seen me talk about it a lot. And it's because everything that's basically going on now and in the last 5 to 8 years is all depicted in here. You know, it's just all depicted in here. And it's pretty undeniable that there's a period here, that there's a New Year's that is coming. And I've said this before, There's a New Year's that is coming where it's going to go off the charts. The thing is I'm not sure which New Year's positively that they're talking about. And what they show, of course, is the birth of something that looks like in the image of a Christ figure. However, it's not going to be the Christ figure. It's going to be the opposite. And upon his arrival, lots of bad things take place, particularly the destruction of procreation, the way it currently is. The man and the woman, sure you're familiar with the story, but it's a destruction of that. I mean, they show it in this video throughout many, many different spots. And it's literally laid out in this video biblically, which I've demonstrated a number of times. If you go to like this scene right here, it shows a bunch of what looks like cloudy looking men standing around. And what this is, of course, is their semen. It's depicting semen. And it depicts the destruction of the semen. And of course, it also, if you look back a little bit further back, it has the depiction of this woman who is trapped or symbolically inside of a penis. Okay. And that there comes a moment in time where a light or a fire comes from the heavens and causes the destruction of the procreative system like we normally are used to. Like we all know how it works, right? Well, they're destroying that. And it's just depicted in here over and over. It shows the way it shows it here. Most of you are familiar with this little scene. And it is unpleasant, the scene in general. Okay. And of course, you've seen the fertile blood drying up, meaning that, well, I don't need to explain what that means. But then the next scene, it shows the Antichrist figure being ready to be birthed into this world. And what you're looking at is a birth canal from the inside out. And I could get more very descriptive about what this is up here. And I have in the past, so most of you already know what this is up here and what it represents. And if we step forward just a little bit more, goes through a couple of the destruction scenes. And it shows a little scene here. This is called Sufi whirling. They stand and dance and spin just like the heavens turn and spin above. Called Sufi whirling, kind of like world. And then there's the actual birth scene after it depicts these animated symbolisms of stars or deities dancing in the heavens, which I've explained what most of them are in the past and what they're doing. And then it shows this symbol or this imagery here. When the light comes, you'll notice here in a moment, when the light comes, there's then a birth, preceded or at the same time of a climactic earthquake, when the heavens and the earth shake. And then you have this actual birth on the waters of this Antichrist looking figure. And you say, well, Daniel, where is the New Year's symbolism at this tied to this? And of course, that's this scenery here. And again, I know some of you've heard me talk about these things before in much more greater detail. But obviously, this is a man or a depiction of a deity, like old man time, okay? And he has a top hat on with a flower in his hat, which makes me wonder if their New Year's they're actually depicting is possibly not actually spring, meaning April, around the April 1st through maybe the 8th in that area of time, because he has the daisy in his hat. But then you've got a top hat and a kazoo and fireworks, just like you see at, any New Year's Eve celebration. So it's a little bit confusing, and I wish the maker of this video would go ahead and just tell us, instead of making it so time consuming to decode what they're showing, because they definitely showed in here what's coming. It's just a matter, I don't know, what do you think, Shannon or Roxy, so far as what is this New Year's or is this 4th of July? I mean, there's big plans for the 4th of July next year, or is this, is it our calendar New Year's, or is it the actual New Year's, which is in the beginning of April? Any thoughts on it?
Well, I do know that that particular character, he's dressed up in a type of voodoo kind of regalia, and it definitely is pointing to a New Year celebration, although I'm not sure exactly when the
Like which New Year's?
Haitian kind of, yeah.
I mean, you don't see any of this going on like 4th of July.
Right. It's I'm curious because too, you look up in the corner, I just noticed, because you know how obsessive I am of subliminal things in your face. If you look in the fireworks, right, there is a shadowed, in the corner over here.
Top right, top left?
To me, it's top right.
Okay.
It looks like a male phallic symbol, right?
Yep.
And with all the explosions going on. So this is ritual sex magic right here. So this is depicting...
the rest of the video is tied to sexual things, so why wouldn't this have some tie?
So in that act, in the act of creating new life, when the spark of light hits, when life happens,
when the
it's like
sperm enters the egg, there's a spark.
Right. So something about this time of year, it's like a portal, right, for that soul. That portal is opened for the soul to enter in this new flesh that's being created for it. So in essence, this is showing you that in this particular time of year, it is trying to open a portal in some kind of sex magic ritual type of way. And in this depiction, you're getting like voodoo, hoodoo stuff mixed in with it, and it's definitely some type of death rebirth ritual.
What do you think about like this scene here? You have this deity type, antichrist, Christ type figure, right? He's in a Egyptian boat and he's traveling through the clouds on the water. You think, I guess you'd probably know that I would say, I wonder if this represents a comet.
Well, I can tell you that the boat depiction he is riding on is the underworld. So this is the abyss that he's traveling through. And
he's riding in a boat with Anubis on the front of it.
Which the god of the underworld.
Right. The Egyptian god of the underworld.
Right. So this is this is obvious, like depicting it as more of the Antichrist figure. But that's kind of the whole thing is, it's interesting. We're constantly on the lookout. I know a lot of us have our things, in discernment that the Holy Spirit has shown us over the years. But we have to remember how much this person is going to try to be and enact like Jesus that we have been told or shown as.
You're like the greatest deceiver ever.
And it's interesting because in this film, the I Pet Goat 2, there's the whole scene of the Notre Dame falling, which happened just like that exact depiction, which to me just reiterates this is AI created. But you
were the first one to say that. I agree with you.
Right. They are obsessed in that, they supposedly had the crown of thorns in that building.
That pyramid-shaped building.
Which I didn't even, in the Notre Dame building that fell. And they're obsessed with the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin goes back and forth to the Notre Dame. And so the Shroud of Turin, I have a lot of issues with. There's a lot of supernatural things, yes, but I don't know if it is what they are telling us. But they're obsessed with saying that they, in a way, it's like if this Shroud of Turin or the Crown of Thorns supposedly has the DNA, right, of our Lord and Savior, which I doubt they have these things, but you know where I'm going with this, right? It's like it wouldn't be impossible for them, with the way they have shaped what Jesus looks like and is like, to falsify that in this imagery.
To bring us somebody who looked very much like him, like what they've shown us as his image to be.
Right. And being an all loving and accepting and, utopian type of manner.
Yeah. And he would, nobody knows exactly how this is going to play out. I know I don't. But it's like, to me, it seems like there's going to be a calamity or several events that take place that will open people's minds and make them susceptible to this Christ-like figure coming. That's going to solve problems, you might say. And
if even the elect are going to be deceived, it's you see what I like there. It's not going to be an obviously evil character coming on,
like not obvious evil,
right?
Like I could name a lot of characters that are to me obvious evil. He would have to be somebody that would even fool me, or potentially, if it were possible.
Potentially. I don't think any of us necessarily are in that category. But you never know. Yeah, you never know.
Well, we're certainly trying to keep watch and be aware as best we have the ability to watch for these things that are coming, and at the same time also trying to warn everybody we possibly can about what is likely playing out with all this stuff that's going on the best we can, because we're no different than y'all guys. We only have so much time to research, so much time to do any of this stuff, and we're still seeking the answers ourselves, and just like y'all guys are, and y'all guys help us a lot. I know you do me, because if it weren't for y'all guys, I wouldn't be able to have time to do the research I've done in the last 15 years or so. Well, especially the last 10, but 15 overall for sure. So let's play. This scene has always fascinated me because of obvious reasons. You know, where, like you were saying about the temple falling, it was like they were symbolizing the destruction of, it was tied to like the Twin Towers coming down. Oh, and I would point this out too, and I have before. What does his chin look like, or his beard look like, Shannon?
Like a flaming ball of fire or
Like
comet.
a comet, possibly. Oh, you said it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Comet, possibly. And if you let this go forward a little bit more, look at the sarcophagus on the right-hand side, right beside his face. Looks like either a sarcophagus, mummy, or possibly phallic imagery as well. Imagery, not symmetry, imagery. You see it over there? Right here?
Thinks. Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Well, definitely phallic in nature.
The one on top's definitely phallic, and the one down below kind of looks like, kind of looks like a mummy. But they wouldn't go back and get DNA from. That like a, almost looks like a blanket laying over the top of something, almost like what you were talking about a while ago.
Or like some kind of broken up tower or something. Like pillar.
But it's there on purpose, that's for sure. You know, they didn't draw that there for no reason. It means something.
Oh, it looks like a full-on being. Now I can see what you're talking about maybe mummy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's female because it looks like it may have a chest.
Maybe.
So it
the one
could
on top
be
definitely
an
looks
active
phallic now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that church or that basilica was named Our Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously it's symbolizing the fall of the woman, you know, and of course, who does Satan seek? Who does the dragon go after? He's after the woman, and he's after the seed of the woman. It even depicts in this video right here. It depicts, this is the dragon, because his name is Draco. They named it, I didn't. And he looks like well, we could get into all that again, but anyways, he's spewing. He comes up and like, and he spews, and then it plays out just like this. It's literally biblical. Here he comes across time, through dimensions, windows, whatever, and spews fire. And I know the Bible says water, but it's pretty undeniable. And here you have the mouth that's open, but you'll be able to see the mouth really easily. It says the earth opened its mouth and helped the woman. And I've thought about that for years now, and to me it's like, it's kind of like they are saying that the people who take the snake bite, it's almost like that they're somehow helping ultimately to separate the actual seed of Christ out away, you know, like the separation of the wheat. At least that's what it seems like to me. And then of course you have this image here as well, as not just the inside of a mouth, but the inside of an apple with the seeds in the middle here that are on fire. Seed on fire. Anyways, I'm probably going on too long about this and me being a little bit unorganized today. I apologize for that, but it ain't easy to do this as much as we do it at all.
I have to exit the premises, sir.
You do? Yeah, we're going to be getting out of here too, real quick in just a minute.
I know, I got stuff I gotta do too.
Yep. All right, well, let's just go ahead and wrap her up And hopefully someone gets something from what we put out here today to help you understand. I wouldn't advise, now I'm not the judge, but I just wouldn't advise being anywhere where there are huge gatherings and all that. And I know Super Dave, he's a rebel. He's headed to the crowd. I'm going to go film him. But in general, it's just not a great idea because we don't know when they're going to do something really dumb. And I suspect whatever it is will appear to come from the heavens. We shall see. We shall see. But thank all y'all guys for being here. Thank you, Super Dave. Thank you, Super Mike. I see y'all guys in the comments and everything. I appreciate all of you. And we'll be back again on Friday. But, of course, Roxy and Shannon will likely be live tomorrow, I do believe, on the
Tomorrow
Roxy
night, 7:30 Eastern.
The Roxy Files, on the Roxy Files channel on YouTube. And also
7:30.
it's simulcast to the Supernatural Show channel as well. And then on Wednesday, I'll have Logic Before Authority, although you'll probably see me again before then. I've got some things in the background that I'm working on for one of those shows. And then, so you'll see me possibly tomorrow as well, but for sure on Wednesday. And then on Thursday is the Roxy File, or excuse me, the Children of the Most High on YouTube. That's Shannon's channel. And Roxy will probably be joining her there as well.
Well, Thursday is that holiday, so we're not sure how that's going to play out. So I will put posts on my community page to see if I will even be home.
All right.
Yeah, we may not be. We may be too exhausted to.
I don't know where we're going to be either,
but we'll definitely do tomorrow night.
So the 24th,
Right.
which is Wednesday, is that New Year or Christmas Eve thing that they lied to us about. And then Thursday is the Christmas thing that they lied to us about. And then the 31st is that New Year's Eve thing that they lied to us about. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we got scheduled down at least.
2 weeks of lies.
Ooh, yeah.
And then there's January, which they lied to us about too. But we love you.
It's all a lie.
Unfortunately so. But there is a truth and there is a way. I love you guys. Thanks for everybody being here. And sorry I'm a little bit not as organized today. It is what it is. But I will see y'all guys again soon. And thank you, especially those that are here watching, because y'all guys are the reason we're here. Please share the video. Hit the thumbs up button. I know you've heard it a million times, but y'all guys, it might help some. So if you don't mind, do that, and especially sharing it, because that would help to get information to other people. And then until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.